And I said, I've never considered myself a leader at all. And I told him, I said, I had extremely low self esteem. I had a lot of issues from childhood, and just to be completely transparent, I mean, man, I was a drug addict very young. I mean, I was already doing hard drugs, as a young teenager. A lot of things that I'm not proud of. And so I was in a world of pain and running, and I was telling Winslow, I said, I never considered myself any type of leader. But one thing I can say that I always have been is I've always been quite the provocateur, where I've always provoked thought. I've always pushed the limits with people, and always pushed boundaries with people. I was just never satisfied with the status quo. And see, I never ever thought of that as like, at least a characteristic or a quality of leadership. I just thought I was rebellious.
You're bucking.
I was just bucking the system and bucking everything, and there can be a rebelliousness in that, but it all depends on what's it for. And and I've learned with people investing in me and my self-esteem growing, my relationship with God and growing in my identity in Christ and all that good stuff, right? I became very rooted in who I am, and I've learned some skills, and I've done things I never would have thought would have done, as far as speaking to big crowds or being able to lead organizations and stuff like that. Like, there's no way in a million years. I mean, I still struggle with imposter syndrome. Like, how the heck? I remember the first time I sat around a table with people who had like, you know, PhDs and like stuff like all these letters behind the name, all these people who have a lot of education. Here I am with my little AOD certification. I'm a drug counselor, and it's like I got no college education, and yet I've always been someone who's been about a growth mindset. I've invested in books. Books have been my best friends. People don't even know that they've mentored me because I just bought all their books, and I just learned everything I could. And I've been a sponge because I think I have followed bad leadership, Winslow, and I felt the pain of that. And I think because I've listened to people and I didn't have my own information, it made me vulnerable. And so one thing I said to myself is I never want to be at the mercy of someone else's knowledge because I'm ignorant. And so I just started reading everything that I could. I never read a book till I was 20 years old. And here we are today with the podcast based on books and personal development, because I mean, it's really what's just changed my whole life. And so some people would say, hey, maybe I fall into a category of leader or whatever.